Good afternoon. This is All India Radio and I am Valsa Williams with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin hold delegation-level talks in New Delhi. Number of agreements expected to be signed. Reserve Bank of India to announce bi-monthly monetary policy review in a short while from now. Home Minister Rajnath Singh calls Naxalism a big challenge for the country, says violence will not be tolerated. US announces new counter-terrorism strategy identifying several Pakistan-based terror outfits, including Lashkar-e-Taiba as potential threat. And in cricket, skipper Virat Kohli's ton on second day puts India in a commanding position against West Indies in Rajkot Test. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin are holding delegation-level talks. Mr. Modi and Mr. Putin are expected to deliberate on a range of regional and global issues. After the talks, the two countries are expected to sign a number of agreements. Later in the day, the two sides will hold the 19th India-Russia Annual Bilateral Summit. Bilateral ties, including defense cooperation, will be reviewed during it. Mr. Putin will also meet President Ramnath Kovind at Rashtrapati Bhavan. The visiting dignitary will also interact with a group of talented children. Mr. Putin arrived in New Delhi yesterday on a two-day visit to India. He was received by External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj at the airport. Mr. Modi received the visiting dignitary at his official residence in the evening. The Reserve Bank of India will announce its bi-monthly monetary policy review today. Our correspondent, quoting experts, reports that the central bank may raise policy rates by 25 basis points.
Stock markets, experts and economists are keenly watching at the RBI's bi-monthly monetary policy, which will be announced in a short while from now. However, according to the experts, the Monetary Policy Committee, which deliberated on the matter for 3 days, in all probability may hike interest rates by 25 basis points to battle inflation risks from costly crude oil and the weak rupee, as well as provide assurance about durable liquidity. The central bank had hiked interest rates in June and August MPC meetings by 25 basis points, each citing upward risks to inflation and volatility in crude oil prices. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
Home Minister Rajnath Singh today said the government has been successful in weeding out Naxals. Speaking at a summit in New Delhi, Mr. Singh said Naxalism is a big challenge for the country and no violence will be tolerated by the government. Mr. Singh said,
इतनी बात मैं दावे के साथ कहना चाहता हूं अपनी गवर्नमेंट के संबंध में, जिसको जो कहना उसकी आइडियोलॉजी, उसकी फिलॉसफी डिफरेंट हो सकती है, भले ही हम उससे सहमत हों, न हों, सब चलेगा, लेकिन किसी को वायलेंस इस देश में प्रमोट करने की इजाजत नहीं दी जा सकती.
Emphasizing the need to eradicate Maoism from its roots, the Home Minister said urban Naxals only want to incite violence. Mr. Singh blamed Pakistan for problems in Kashmir and said the government is working towards improving the situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Mr. Singh also condemned the Lucknow techies' murder, saying it was a very unfortunate incident. The northeast monsoon in Tamil Nadu and Puducherry is expected to set in on Monday. Addressing press persons in Chennai this morning, the head of the Indian Meteorological Department in Chennai, Dr. Balachandran, said a low-pressure area is expected to form over the southern bay on Monday and bring rainfall across the state. In the southeast Arabian Sea, a low-pressure area has formed and is set to intensify in the next 12 hours. Some areas close to the western Ghats in Tamil Nadu and a few places in southern districts are set to experience very heavy rain. More from our correspondent.
The Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Edappadi K. Palaniswamy reviewed the preparedness of the state machinery with his cabinet colleagues and senior officials in Chennai this morning to face any possible flood situation in the state. In the last 24 hours, a maximum of 13 centimeter rain has been recorded at Ennur in Chennai, followed by 12 centimeter in Cholavaram in Tiruvallur district. Schools and colleges in Kanchipuram and Tiruvallur districts remain closed due to rain, and only schools are declared holiday in Chennai, Tirunelveli and Tuticorin districts. This year, the northeast monsoon is expected 13 days ahead compared to last year. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
Nagaland has become the fourth state to be declared open defecation-free under Swachh Bharat Abhiyan Gramin in the northeast region. The announcement was made on the 2nd of October, commemorating the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi in Kohima, where 7 districts, Dimapur, Kohima, Mon, Peren, Pek, Tuensang and Wokha, were declared ODF. Here is a ground report from our Kohima correspondent.
Minister for Public Health Engineering Department Jacob Zimomi on 2nd October declared Nagaland as an open defecation-free ODF state under the Swachh Bharat Mission Rural. Jacob Zimomi said it is a proud moment for the people of the state for achieving the ODF target even before the deadline set by the central government. An awardee representing Tuensang district, Mr. Zuheto Kati, head Gambora from Secure B village of Tuensang district, shared how the village achieved the status of ODF.
I am Zuheto Kati, head Gaunbura of Secure B village of Tuensang district. Earlier we faced difficulties without toilets, but we thank the government and the PHE department for implementing the project in our village. We have a total of 115 toilets being constructed, and since the introduction of the Swachh Bharat mission, the village council has been creating awareness among the villagers about hygienic lifestyle. We also conduct social work once in every 3 months.
Though the rural areas of Nagaland have achieved the status of ODF, both the department as well as the village councils pledge to create more awareness by advocating the importance of Swachh Bharat mission. Asonyo, AIR News, Kohima.
A 4-day India International Science Festival IISF 2018 kicked off in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh today. The subject of this year's festival is Science for Transformation. Union Science and Technology Minister Dr. Harshvardhan opened the event. President Ramnath Kovind will formally inaugurate the festival tomorrow. Addressing the opening function, Dr. Harshvardhan said science has a solution for every problem, and many problems in the country may be solved using scientific approach. He said the government is providing all possible help to startups and innovators. Around 10,000 scientists and experts, including science teachers and students, are participating in the event. Our correspondent reports that all aspects of science will be discussed during the event. A report.
India's progress in the field of science and technology can be witnessed at the IISF Expo in Lucknow. DRDO, ISRO, ICAR, ICSR, nuclear science, biotechnology, and many others are a source of attraction for people. An exhibition of more than 200 startups in the festival are a source of inspiration for young scientists. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said all help will be extended to the feast. Meanwhile, he will also inaugurate a health conclave at Scientific Convention Center of KGMU this afternoon. MS Yadav, AIR News, Lucknow.
A conclave of Himalayan states on the theme well-being of the next generation of the Himalayan people is being held at Shimla in Himachal Pradesh today. Union Ministers Radha Mohan Singh and Kiren Rijiju will attend the conclave. Chief Ministers, Agriculture Ministers, parliamentarians and senior officials of Himalayan states are also expected to participate in the conclave. The conclave will deliberate on agriculture, hydropower and tourism. Issues related to development of border areas, construction of roads, bridges, hospitals and schools are also expected to be discussed. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. Minister of State for Home Affairs Hansraj Gangaram Ahir has underlined the need for upgradation of technologies to counter crimes. He said there is an urgent need for procuring latest weapons for the safety and security of the country. Mr. Rahir was speaking at a function after inaugurating the 3-day Indian International Security Expo 2018 at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi today. Expressing grave concern over the increased attacks on the country's integrity, the minister said the government is making all-out efforts to ensure peace and safety of the people. The Supreme Court today dismissed a plea by an accused in the Kathua gang rape and murder case, seeking fresh investigation in the matter on grounds that the probe conducted earlier was allegedly motivated. A bench of Justices Uday Umesh Lalit and D.Y. Chandrachud also dismissed a separate plea filed by 2 other accused in the case, seeking transfer of the investigation in the matter to an independent agency. The bench, while rejecting both the pleas, said the accused could raise this issue before the lower court during the ongoing trial. The State Police's crime branch, which probed the case, filed the main charge sheet against 7 people and a separate charge sheet against a juvenile, revealing details about how the minor girl was allegedly kidnapped, drugged and raped inside a place of worship before being killed. The Supreme Court today asked the centre to respond to a plea alleging that 15,820 persons have been fitted with faulty hip implants supplied by a multinational company. A bench headed by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi asked the centre to file its response on the PIL, which alleged that faulty implants were used for hip replacement surgeries. In Jammu and Kashmir, unidentified terrorists shot dead 2 workers of the National Conference and injured another party worker in an attack in Old Srinagar area this afternoon. Security sources said that terrorists attacked the workers at Kafali Mohalla of Old City's Habakadal area. Police have launched a manhunt to nab the attackers. The Delhi High Court today acquitted former TV anchor and producer Sohaib Ilyasi in his wife's murder case. The court allowed the appeal of Ilyasi, challenging his conviction and life imprisonment for killing his wife Anju 18 years ago. The trial court had in December 2017 sentenced Ilyasi to life term for stabbing his wife to death, saying he committed murder and gave it a color of suicide. The Trump administration, in its new counter-terrorism strategy, identified Pakistan-based terrorist outfits, the Lashkar-e-Taiba LET and Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan TTP, as a potential threat to the United States. The National Strategy for Counter-Terrorism released by the White House yesterday said, in addition to the ISIS and Al-Qaeda, dozens of other radical Islamist terrorist groups are working to advance more locally focused insurgent or terrorist campaigns while still posing a threat to United States persons and interests overseas. The strategy also highlights that the groups, including Boko Haram, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan and the Lashkar-e-Taiba, employ a range of political and terrorist tactics to undermine local governments and conduct attacks. The LET has been declared as a foreign terrorist organization by the US in June 2014. According to the strategy, these terrorist organizations will probably prioritize regional goals over attacks against the homeland or United States interests because of resource constraints or political considerations. The strategy said that the ISIS remains the foremost radical Islamist terrorist group and the primary transnational terrorist threat to the US. Former South Korean President Lee Myung-bak was jailed for 15 years for corruption. The 76-year-old CEO turned president who served from 2008 to 2013 was found guilty on charges including bribery and embezzlement and ordered to pay a fine of $11.5 million by the Seoul Central District Court. The court found that Lee was the de facto owner of DAS, a controversial auto parts company, which he claimed was his brother's, which he used to create slush funds. Lee was also found guilty of accepting nearly $5.3 million from Samsung Electronics in return for a presidential pardon for its chairman, Lee Kun-hee, who was jailed for tax evasion. Both Samsung and Lee have denied any wrongdoing. India was 648 for 9 in their first innings on the second day of the opening cricket test against the West Indies at Rajkot a short while ago. After Prithvi Shaw's ton on the opening day, which provided the hosts a solid start, skipper Virat Kohli and Ravindra Jadeja's tons put India in a commanding position against the visitors on the second day. Kohli scored 139 before walking back to the pavilion, while Jadeja was playing on 100 a short while ago. Rishabh Pant, who opened the day with Kohli, contributed 92 before throwing his wicket to Devendra Bishu. Earlier on the opening day, 18-year-old Prithvi Shaw scored 134 runs to become the youngest Indian batsman to score 100 on debut. And now, before we close, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin hold delegation-level talks in New Delhi. Number of agreements expected to be signed. Reserve Bank of India to announce bi-monthly monetary policy review in a short while from now. Home Minister Rajnath Singh calls Naxalism a big challenge for the country, says violence will not be tolerated. US announces new counter-terrorism strategy identifying several Pakistan-based terror outfits including Lashkar-e-Taiba as potential threat. And in cricket, skipper Virat Kohli's ton on second day puts India in a commanding position against West Indies in Rajkot Test. And with that, we end the Midday News.